All right, how we going, guys? Welcome back to our 2D sandbox series. I'm excited for today's episode. It is going to be a fun one. We're going to do lighting. Finally, I know. Like I said, here we do have a couple of issues. So let's address those. In our player controller first, we want to move this to the update function, this whole thing, as my comment here suggests. So highlight all of that. Control X, that's going to cut it. Or alternatively, you can say right click and cut. Nice and easy. I'm going to get rid of my comment there. Save that. And then in your update function, underneath hit and place here, paste that there. Fix up these indentations. Save that. Now, the reason we're moving that to the update function is because if you guys remember, I had trouble remembering, but in the last episode, when you would click, it wouldn't actually destroy tiles. Reason being because it was in the fixed update function. And I've mentioned this so many times before, but fixed update is very inconsistent. So now if we break a tile, you'll see that it actually breaks off properly. You'll see that if I break a tile in the foreground, the background tile doesn't break instantly. And yes, however, here's what's currently happening. If I right click a block, that's fine, it places. If I break it, it's placing a block in the background, which, you know, doesn't make any sense. We don't want it to automatically place one in the background. The other thing it's doing, if I place the block here, is dropping the block in the background and replacing it, which is, look, it's correct theoretically, but also not. So what shall we do? I'm thinking we should probably fix these errors before we move any further in lighting. So these errors are quite simple to fix. I did take notes of them here. So if wall tiles index of is, if it's in the background, let's fix this one. So if it doesn't have a wall variant, then place it if the tile is naturally placed. So how do we detect if the tile is naturally placed is the, I guess, the main question. So what I could do, the easiest method is probably here. We will just have a public bool naturally placed equals true, maybe false. Naturally placed equals false. Then in our place tile function, here we're going to take in that bool. So bool is naturally placed. Correct? Yes, so new tile is of this, name equals that, add new tile. So new tile dot naturally add tile. Right, I'm gonna say tile dot naturally placed equals is naturally placed. So that's gonna modify it there. That's fine. That happens in the background. But yep. So then that returns us obviously a lot of errors. The reason it's doing it is because obviously we haven't input that parameter here. We're going to fix that in just a sec. Basically here, all we have to do is say if the tile at this position, which we get via this code. So copy that, paste that, Control C, Control V, and it's going to be dot naturally placed. So if it's naturally placed, then place tile. Here's what I'm going to do real quick. I'm going to say tile class tile equals this. So Control C, Control V for that. Right there, Control C, Control V. And that way I can just say tile dot naturally placed. I don't have to keep writing that giant chunk of code every single time. Same up here. I'm just going to say tile dot wall variant. Tile dot tile drop. That's fine. Same here as well. Tile dot wall variant. So that's saying if I remove a naturally placed tile on the thingy, then move a tile into the background, in which case this should be true. There, okay? That's going to fix that issue. And then we'll just mark this for now just in case. So what that means now, theoretically, obviously it won't work, but yeah, that means that if I break a tile that I place, it shouldn't have a wall behind it automatically, which is perfect, exactly what we want. What we have to do here is say true, well, for all of these, because in our terrain generator, all of these are placed by code naturally. everything placed by the player is not naturally placed, of course. The reason we're having that as well is because it's a good way to add other implementation into the game later on if you did want. Because we want our tile class to store as much data as possible about each tile. It will make customizability for our project much, much better. So that's naturally placed as well. Up here, these are going to be all naturally placed. Yep. So true. Place tile. Yep. True. Perfect. Up here as well. True. Cool. And then down here we have a couple of errors. What's going on here? Check tile. This should probably say naturally placed as well here. Bool is naturally placed. That's gonna get passed into here. Is naturally placed. Remove if that tile is not a wall tile, we'll add that later. If tiles are is in background, so if it's in the background, remove the tile in the background once I place a block, is what it's saying. If it's not a wall tile. I might do this real quick for now and just see how that either breaks or fixes it. In our player controller, of course, it's going to check tile. We want it to say true. We're just going to test all the functionality that was broken. If it's still broken, bad. If it's fixed, good. Let's see what it do. I can place it. I can break it. It still has a tile behind it. If I break these ones now, though, okay, that's fine. Yeah, no, that's good. Can I break these in the background as well? Yes, I can. Do they drop tiles as well? Yes, they do. Can I place it on top? Okay, yeah, so I can't place the one blocks on top of wall tiles. So that's what this code does here. So if it's in the background, we don't want to remove the one in the background. We simply want to place it is naturally placed. So that's going to fix that error up. It's a very loud car just drove past my house. If you guys could hear that. Okay, so now I can break trees. Yep, it's fine. I can place blocks on top of trees, break them. They don't disappear. That's interesting. Do any of my blocks disappear? Okay, so blocks placed by me do disappear. They also have an error there. That's fine. We're gonna fix that now. Can I place blocks here? I can. If I break them, it breaks the background, and we have unlimited blocks. Okay. This should be false. So in your player controller, you want to make sure that when you place it, it is not naturally placed, so false. I think that might fix the issue now. So I break these, that's fine. There's no wall tiles there, that's fine. I can place it on top. Yes, I can break it. I can break it. No. I place it, break it, cool. So yes, at the moment, I can place it. It doesn't have walls behind it, so that's a dub. That's successful there. I can break the wall tiles as well. Yeah, I can place it on top of background blocks, but when I break it, it breaks the background block. By default, are all tile classes true? Naturally placed. Let's make this true. Okay, so now that fixes that error. If I place it here, still that's broken. We can get unlimited resources. Okay, so that works fine. It's just if I place it on and it has a black background tile. So the issue is if where is it's our remove tile function here. So it contains it. That's fine. That works all right. Okay, so I've worked it out, guys. It says here overwrite existing tile. We're not doing that. We should actually say remove tile and then X and Y, and now we're overwriting the existing tile. And now that should actually fix our problem in a way that's a bit less, how can I explain? Ideal, I guess is a good way to sort of say it, because here's what's happening, right? I'm placing a tile on the back of a wall. It drops the wall tile. If I break that tile, it drops that tile. So we're getting the same resources, that's fine. It's just destroying the wall tile at the same time, which in terms of performance actually as well is exactly what we want, to be fair. Now as well, if I break tiles that I have placed, they don't put wall tiles. The only thing I have to do now is say if I place a tile, they should have a tile in the background before I place it, or adjacent tiles. So I'm gonna do that in later episodes because I do want to sort of move on to lighting. That is the fun part. So we're gonna do that.